In Ontario, Austin Powder is blasting granite. Granite is one of the hardest substances in the world. At most locations, explosives are loaded and the shot is detonated all within a 4 to 6 hour period. The working benches are usually flat, but not here in the Muskoka region. It took 2 full days to load the explosives using 5 bulk trucks and a 4-person crew.
It's a difficult terrain to put machinery on for the drilling, to get our own equipment on for loading the shot. There's always the risk of deviation, which increases the risk of overpressure. On a shot like this, we apply a lot of technology to measure the results of the drilling to make sure holes are where they should be, and if they're not, we adjust accordingly. Of course, safety is, when you have terrain like that, every step of the way, safety is our first priority.
The rock blasted will be crushed into aggregate that is the fundamental building block of our society, used in everything from the roads we travel to the foundations of our homes, businesses, and lives.
Granite is definitely a challenging rock. It's a hard rock compared to limestone. Aurelia is centrally located where we service both limestone and granite. Limestone is a pretty typical, show up, load, shoot. The granite, there's a lot more detail that needs to go in. So customer will call me, say, okay, we need to start planning the next shot. Typically 100 to 200,000 tons. From a driller's perspective, limestone you could blast a day or 2 days even with the same bit, drill bit. Where granite, you're changing it out every 2 holes. You're going through eight bits a day. This particular blast had its own unique challenges where the terrain was a little worse than normal, very rough. So trying to get stemming close to the holes to make our employees, have an easier time. A safer time. It was a challenge dealing with that spread, the crushing equipment so close. That's an ongoing issue that we have in this part of the world, trying to maintain control while also working safely out on the bench.
So blasting in Canada is certainly challenging in that the climate, we get a little bit of everything. We are 4-season climate, so we have the extremes of every season you can imagine. And we work in every condition.
We've got mountains of snow, so sometimes we're doing these type of granite shots when there's a foot of snow on the ground, and that presents its own challenges where you can't see where you're stepping. You don't know what's underneath that snow, if it's a hole or a crack. Austin Powder provides us with all the necessary safety tools to try and do our job as safe as possible.
Another challenge of working in Canada is that the regulations are among the strictest in the world when it comes to compliance. We really have to apply everything that we know about blasting and the technology that we have to remain compliant to those strict regulations. The distance between sites in Canada is another challenge. Often our locations are several hours away from the next Austin Powder location. Sometimes the next closest town we're several hours away from. So you really have to be self-sufficient in operations that way. For me, the favorite part of the job is seeing all the efforts of everybody coming together for one magnificent result. It takes weeks of planning often, and it all comes to one moment where everyone's efforts comes to fruition. It's an incredible thing.